And so we'll preface this. Yesterday, I was sent a message talking about the Grand Rapids uh, MLS Next Pro side, who's just been labeled as West Side Soccer Pro Soccer. They're building Amway Stadium in Grand Rapids now. It's been a long time coming. There was, we talked about it earlier in the show. There was a great NPSL rivalry between Detroit and Grand Rapids. So it's a long awaited, what will this team look like? A little disappointed it's MLS Next Pro, but they're moving forward, and was sent a website that might not have been complete, might not have been ready for consumption. There was a video there, not able to pull that off before the access to the site was shut down, but we did pull the badge. So this is what we think will be the badge for AC Grand Rapids, the brand new independent MLS Next Pro side. Grand Rapids would be an exciting place. It's a big minor league town. They support the baseball team there. They support a very successful minor league AHL hockey team there. So it's a growing mid-sized city, one of the very few cities I think it's the only city in Michigan, one of the very few cities in the Midwest with positive population growth. So it's a great place to put a soccer team. But here's the badge. It's been a long time coming. I'll admit I was underwhelmed. Perhaps could grow on me. Your thoughts out there? What do you think about the AC Grand Rapids?
Yeah, so Mike Thomas saying this looks like MS Paint. If you have a thought about how this was generated, please go ahead and throw it in there because I'm curious. Look, I will say this from a traditional soccer perspective, I don't have a problem with this. Right, like just the elements of it, the intertwined G and R for Grand Rapids. I don't know about AC. Again, we're getting into this thing where we've got sporting clubs and athletic clubs. And are you playing other sports? You got rugby over there? What are you doing? You got a polo team? I don't know what's going on. Which one are you?
I got
Again,
a lightning bolt. I got a lightning bolt suggestion for a better name. It might be a little weird. Can I spitball one here off the cuff?
Sure. Okay, sure.
Just
Go ahead.
call
Yeah.
it the Grand Rapids. So the team is the
Oh,
Rapids, and they are the Grand Rapids.
no, that's terrible. I hate that. What I was going to say, sorry, Rob. Look, AC could also be in the Italian style, which is not athletic club. It's Associazione Calcio, right? But I don't think that's what's going on here. I don't think a team in Grand Rapids is like, we're being a calcio club, and that's what the AC means, and that's why we're called AC. They're biting the European vibe, which, again, this is just the way we do things. But to me, what this looks like it looks a little bit AI to me. And I'll tell you why. Like specifically, it's the banner, right? It's where the AC Grand Rapids is. It's some of the edges, it's the flourish, it's the detail there, the lines. It's not bad. It just feels a little bit AIE to me, or at least AI assisted. Those colors don't pop. I guess are they going to be wearing gold? Are they wearing black and whatever that blue is?
It's a black and a
Obviously,
very dark blue. But
we
yeah,
do have
I
this.
guess I
We
was
do have this too.
underwhelmed
Okay.
because this is such a long. Yeah, this is the Amway Grand Rapids. You're not wrong with that. That's a good shout. But it's just this has been in the works for so long. I guess that granted, this could be an incomplete version, just a placeholder for a website that wasn't supposed to be public yesterday. But
Yeah, somebody made it public by accident, and now if you go over, I was getting a maintenance message when you link to this in the Discord. I was trying to, where is it? It's a maintenance message. I don't see this, because you said, did you see the video? And I was like, well, there's no video there. It says maintenance, and then now it says forbidden. Now it's a 403 forbidden error. So it's not even saying the same thing. So clearly they went, oh wait, what? No, we weren't ready. What happened? I'm naked. Get out of here. Like that was kind of what was going on there.
yeah, because with so much time in the works for this project, because it's been going on for years trying to get this thing happen. It was basically like we're talking about in the Cleveland conversation. It was like the regional oligarchs then put the money, so now it's actually happening. But the critiques in one of my group chats was saying that this looks like a generated FIFA team. Some other, I think producer Jenny said it looks like a Quidditch badge.
It does,
Um,
yeah. It does look like a
so I guess
house
we'll
of
reserve
Hogwarts.
our full judgment and snootiness until like the actual official public reveal comes out. The video, it definitely seemed like a Michigan. Do you get pure Michigan commercials where you live? The tourist board stuff from Michigan?
Maybe occasionally, certainly
Used
online,
to
you'll
be
get
Tim Allen.
those tourist ones. Is it Tim Allen?
It used to be, but now it's just like a
Oh,
kind of a different general deep voice guy that, soothing deep
okay.
voice and stuff. And it was kind of like a tourism ad for Grand Rapids. And I thought at first you were talking about AI because it did hit all those like staples of like people playing in park. People like beer here. There's also, very cool looking people heading to the match, Um, it-
Right.
so I was curious if when you mentioned AI, you thought about that video, but we shall see here.
Yeah, no, the other thing I'll mention, this came up in the Discord as well from Ryan. He said he couldn't find a registered or pending trademark for AC Grand Rapids. And usually you get that business done. Now, sometimes that's a way for things to leak, right? Because people are constantly trolling the trademark office website for stuff like this. I mean, I remember doing that for old MLS expansion clubs and things like that a long time ago, NASL. I haven't done it in a while, but I know you can go over there and search for this stuff. And he says he didn't find anything. Now, maybe that's user error. Shout out to Ryan. I don't know. Or maybe this is a placeholder, as you said, and this isn't actually what it's going to be.
But it's interesting to get a peek behind the curtain. Like I said, much anticipated, at least me being a Michigan soccer nerd, like having another pro team, great having another soccer stadium. I mean, Michigan can go from 0 stadiums to 2 in the same year, which is just a wild development. I got my fingers crossed, double crossed, hoping that something happens to where they reconsider and they come into the USL, because I would love a cross-state rivalry. But as it stands now, they're a MLS Next Pro side, which definitely doesn't
look,
put them in the same ecosystem as anything else going on here.
no, and this is the thing that because of the way that MLS is doing this, or Next Pro teams are jumping in, they're so separate from any of the other independent teams. It's really hard to imagine. I mean, Bailey came on and said that the Cleveland team could have a rivalry with Crew 2. Now, Crew 2 does have a little bit more of a thing going than some of these other two second teams that are in MLS
Does that get
Next
your
Pro.
blood boiling? Does that boil your blood?
No, not really. Now look, if you are from Columbus and you just don't like Cleveland, you're from Cleveland, and you don't like Columbus, then and this is the only expression of that rivalry that you can form, then maybe you lean into it. But I don't think they're gonna, it's not gonna become the talk of the town that Crew 2, the Capybaras, are gonna be playing Cleveland of MLS Next Pro. And so it makes it easy for us to kind of just dismiss these MLS Next Pro independent teams and put them to the side and focus on the main event for us, which is USL expansion, because those teams are, independent and playing in an independent league. Again, I'd love for all this stuff to be connected. I hope that's not the look. Grand Rapids, as you said, is a city that should be able to support high level minor league soccer, lower division soccer. I know, and I want this to succeed. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe they start in MLS Next Pro, find themselves chafing against that a little bit, and in a couple years' time, look for entry to USL.
And it's a good shout, Mike, saying there's always the Open Cup. Yeah, they kind of regionalize those first few rounds when teams jump in. So there could well be a Grand Rapids versus Detroit Open Cup match. But I think there's also some of these teams put fear into the hearts of the USL a little bit too. There's been an argument that, the rapid, extremely aggressive campaign that USL is running right now to touch on these 70 cities and try to get every mid-sized city in the United States on board with forming a club, or at least getting some sort of agreement in place to kind of like lock up that region. So they don't want the minor leagues or the lower leagues to be kind of occupied or take the oxygen out of the lower league system.
Yeah.
If more teams like Grand Rapids are building stadiums and more independent teams are occupying MLS Next Pro, you'd say that's like one of the biggest threats to the USL's plan.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, again, this is that
threat.
soccer wars, land grab element of it. We only have a couple of examples of this. So I don't know. I don't know that. So there definitely is like this thing about there should be no restrictions. And while we were doing the main show today, people were talking about territorial rights. And we do have a question in with USL about how territorial rights will be handled once ProRel enters the picture. I don't know that you don't have any like obvious conflicts there, because territorial rights for USL apply across all leagues, as far as I'm aware.
As it is
Right?
now, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you can't if you start a team in Fresno and then somebody else is like, well, I want to do a USL League One team, and you already have a championship team, but I want to do a second team and I want to do USL League One. They're probably not going to say yes to that, right? They're protecting the market for that franchisee. And again, some of that stuff feels icky and yucky and we don't like it, but there's a reason that they do it. When we talk about cross league elements of this, US soccer is in no position legally to prevent any professional club from launching in any market because there's already a professional club there. So when St. Louis City launched, I had people that I was engaged with saying, why doesn't US soccer stop this? Because there's already a team in St. Louis. There's already a soccer team in St. Louis. What do you mean they're going to put an MLS team in St. Louis? So that feels like something that a governing body should be involved in, protecting the existing team from the big bad MLS team coming to town. But again, legally speaking, two separate entities. You can't if US Soccer said to St. Louis City or to MLS, no, you can't put a team there. There's already a soccer team in the city. They would sue US Soccer into oblivion.
No
I mean,
doubt.
they US Soccer's not going to put themselves in that position is my point. Even obviously there's MLS interest in US Soccer, and we could argue about that conflict of interest on some level, but man, that thing about how complicated it is to make it work in this idealized, romanticized, open model that people want is kind of missing from the conversation.
There is a difference between pro rel and an open system, right? Exactly.
Yeah, well, in this case, absolutely, right? And I don't know that we have another example of a closed league with promotion or relegation in world football. It's possible it exists, and
We're
I'm
doing
just
it
not
our
aware
own
of
way.
it.
We're inventing our own very unique kind of it's either you can call it either a mousetrap or rat's nest, perhaps. But
Sure.
kind of
But
give
obviously, like,
everything,
again, this is not an open system. This is USL bringing promotion and relegation within the ecosystem that they themselves control. We threw up that graphic when we did the investment discussion the other day because that's how they see it. We control all of this. We control USL Division 1, Championship, League 1, USL League 2, all of these things. These are all under our umbrella. We provide the structure. Those teams pay us their franchise fees. We control all of this. Right? This is not an open system. Somebody can't launch a team in a high amateur league, NPSL, and then say, well, we won our league. We get to go to USL League One because they're not USL teams. So are we going to figure out a way to crack this open, or are there too many barriers in place? Again, legally, corporate decision-making wise, things of that nature to prevent it. So as I said, beggars can't always be choosers, and we are kind of in a let's just see what happens with what we can get situation.
Yeah, trying to make our way through parsing through the parts, the ugly parts connected to the thing that we ultimately want in the game that we love. We shall see how that all pans out. At the beginning of a long play, I keep on feeling when we get to the end of episodes like this, where we talk about the landscape, we're at the beginning of a long play here of dotting the map of American soccer clubs across the United States. We've had a bumper crop. We're almost going a double length episode today. While we're piling things on and adding things on, is there anything else, or are you ready to be done?
Man, I'm sure there will be something else. I'm sure we'll shut the show down, and I'll immediately have another thought that I want to share with everybody. But for the time being, no, let's end this thing. Again, go read the newsletter, Jason Davis Soccer Eagle. Thank you very much for everybody who is supporting the show. Our new members, remember, dot the map, get that out there. That is not just for us; that is for American soccer. We want to spread that word. We've got some very cool things coming up. We're working on some new projects. I don't want to give anything away. Some of the stuff is like almost like these USL teams, Rob. We're exploring things, but we don't, we don't necessarily have it all ready to go. We're like Grand Rapids. We're kind of like, I can't put it out there yet.
We don't want to leave our website exposed to the public, though, before we're too ready, though, perhaps.
No,
but
we do not.
a lot's going on. Thank you for all your contributions. New members, get into the Discord. There's an intro section for you to kind of introduce yourself. And then, of course, put your coordinates in the dot the map thread and get yourself on the morning kick around map. All right. So it's been a long one. It's been an exciting one, jam-packed, full of news about the American soccer landscape. But let's take our breath, enjoy the weekend ahead, and we'll come right back on Monday. But until then, enjoy your soccer.